So when we talk about treaties, they're not all about migas and chumiksa bigan. Where sometimes we talk about other different types of treaties, and normally I ask for a sema tobacco when we talk about these important treaties and ceremonies and songs and such. But I'm going to share this because I feel that it's important, because when you watch this video, it's just not just Shagnashi, our English people. It's for our native, our Anishinaabe, to learn as well, because we're in a day and age where we don't usually have access to teachings like we would if we're living maybe in the community somewhere and we have knowledge keepers. So I'm not gonna ask for a sema. I'm just gonna share with you about one of our drum stories. So we have these different types of drums. We have a little hand drum, and then we have the big drum. In this story, it refers to the big drum. It's also a form of peace. So in this story, because our people, we're very nomadic people. We if we need to move in different seasons for different reasons, for food source or ceremony or whatever it may be, we need to move. And in this story here, it goes back to when we were in by the Lakotas, North Dakota, South Dakota region. And so back then we were living close to each other, but sometimes we would fight and argue amongst each other, and over just different things, over food source, over landmass, ceremonies, partnership with different. Maybe I might want to find a partner that's Lakota, and our Anishinaabe are not okay with it, and vice versa. So we used to fight and argue a long time. And in this story here, there was a big battle and there was lots of bloodshed. And in the story, there was in the middle of a field, there was a little girl. And in that little girl, she was crying and she had blood all over her. And she was very, very scared and crying. And she was crying out for mom and mom and dad. And she knew that mom and dad had passed already. And they were already hurt. So Genrudo, Creator, this is a good time to make a move. So he goes down to that little girl and he says, if you could stop all this warring, stop all the bloodshed and people from fighting and arguing and hurting each other, would you? And the little girl says, yes. She says, yes, I do. I would, because if I could save my parents, I would have. But Creator says, okay, it's your responsibility now, and what I want you to do is there's a river that's over there, and I want you to go in that river, and from what I teach you, it's going to take 4 days. So you need to go underwater for 4 days. And she thought that was kind of crazy. So Creator says, okay, I know that you're scared, but over there beside that water there's cattails. So I want you to take the top off that cattail, and I want to take the bottom off that cattail, and then you can use that to breathe out of. So she said, okay. So she went underwater, and as soon as she went underwater, she didn't see bubbles or fishies. What Creator showed her was Ishpaming, the heavens. And in that creation, there's that she was given that vision of that wagon that was coming down from the heavens, and she looked at it like that, and she knew that was different, but she knew it was really beautiful, and it was coming down, and it came and sat in front of her, and she says, Creator, that's really beautiful. What is it? And a sound, and she says, that's beautiful. So what do I do with it? And Creator says, well, over 4 days, I'm going to teach you how to honor it, how to feed it, how to take care of it, and how to use it. So she says, that's beautiful. Tell me. He says, on this one side is a hide. And in the middle, there's a wooden rim. And on the other side, there's a hide. And put them all together, there's lacing that connects both hides. She says, okay, what next? She says, Creator says, well, I've already given you that first medicine, that asama. You're going to offer that asama to the deer or whatever you choose, elk, caribou, moose, buffalo. You're going to offer that asama, talk to that animal in prayer and say, I need to take that your hide for the sacrifice of our greater good of man. Creator asked me for this. So okay, so then you take that sama and you take that to a tree and you talk to that tree, offer that sama, and you say, okay, I need to take the life of this tree for the greater man. So it was okay. And then she says, okay, I've got that. So now what do I do? So he teaches her how to scrape that hide, scrape that on both sides, and to take that wood and that stump, carve out the middle and cut that piece off. He teaches her all this. So then he goes on to next, and he teaches her about feasting it. And you feast it once a year in the fall time. So he says, well, okay, you're going to feast that drum, and it's going to be just before winter time. So when that first blanket of snow, it comes over, we know that it's not killing things. Everything either goes asleep or there's new growth that comes. There's new beginnings every year. So every time when we use this drum, there's going to be new beginnings and new ceremonies every year. So then she says, okay, so what do I do with it? He says, you're going to make the stick, and then you're going to sound that drum. And I'm going to give you different types of beats. And there's many different songs that I'm going to teach you. So he teaches her over and over so many different songs. There's wedding songs, death songs, birth songs, honor songs, ceremonial songs, all kinds of different dancing songs. Creator taught her so many songs that will last for the whole existence of mankind, for every ceremony, every usage of every song that we could ever use. So she says, okay, what do I do with it? So now that you've got this object, we had a thought. I showed you my thought. I taught you how to take care of it, where to get it, how to use it. He says, well, okay, but now what you need to do is you need to take all this knowledge and go all to the Anishinaabe over here. Teach them what I've taught you. And then you go all to the Lakota people over there and you teach them that. And once you're done that task, then you go out to all the other nations across the land and you teach them the same thing. Because it's not just us that's fighting amongst each other, it's everybody. And for silly reasons. And this will help everybody. So she says, okay. So the really cool thing about this story is that when Creator asked this young lady to go underwater for 4 days, there's an idea, a spirit being born. And when a spirit is born, sometimes it takes on physical form. And when it passes through that vessel, through the spirit world into our physical world, we have something physical. So when we talk about our high regards to women, we honor our women all the time. And because they're life givers, they're such a huge, important part of us in this existence. The reason why this story is important also is because the birthing of this drum is the same as when a mother has a spirit in her belly in the womb, and it becomes a physical form and a baby, and it comes through in its actual being. They're both that thing that affects human life. So we have a form of the wagon, the beat of Mother Earth, and we have a human being that's being born, and they tie together. And when we tie them together, they make that beautiful sound. The very first sound is when a baby cries. So there is a huge connection. So we got